So time for one of the most classic problems in the first half of Algebra 1, and that is writing an equation for a table of values using slope-intercept form for a line, which is this guy. This is a great one to learn to start with because basically all that's going on in this equation is you have your y and your x variables, and this is like a starting point, and then this is the rate of change or the slope. And I think it's worth actually just labeling these real quick. So remember, this is the slope, and then this is going to be the starting point, which is also known as the y-intercept. That is a sad-looking E, isn't it? Okay, there we go. All right, so all we have to do is just fill in these numbers, basically. And something that can be helpful is, drawing a little sketch of the graph. So that first point right there is -6, 4. It says go back 6, up 4. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up 4 puts us right there. The next point, -4, 5. So I need to go back 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 5. There we are. 0, 7. So that one you go over 0 on the x-axis, right? And then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 marks the spot. Sure, we'll go one more. Over 2 and up 8. So this one's over 2, up 8. I'm not going to worry about that last one because it looks like it's going to be kind of up in the letters up here. So now look at this. They are a nice perfect straight line. If you ever struggle to write an equation because you're having trouble visualizing it, I'm a very visual person. I like to get a graph out here and see those points lined up. Okay, so one of the first most easy things to fill in is the y-intercept, and that is this point right here where it's crossing the y-axis. If you're just going to work off the table, you're going to notice here in some of these that there's a point that has a 0 for the x-coordinate, such as this one. That's going to be the dead giveaway that your y-intercept is right here, and that is the b in your equation. So why don't we just go ahead and start filling in our equation with what we know. And I'm going to just leave the slope blank for right now. We'll get that in a second. Plus, and we just said the y-intercept is 7. It's where it's crossing the y-axis. So time to get the slope. Now the slope, which is m, hopefully you've seen the slope/rate of change video. They're the same thing. That is defined as the change in y over the change in x. Now, since you can look at this as a picture or you can work off of the table, why don't we look at both? So if I want to look at this as a picture, I'm just going to note here, so if I go between these 2 points, well, what's the change in y? It looks to me like it goes up 1, and then it goes over 2. And so the slope is going to be a change in y of 1, that's your up, sometimes they call it the rise, over the change in x of 2. That's your run, rise over run, change in y over change in x, all the same thing. You could also do it just off of these points in the table. So look at the change in y here. From 4 to 5, you go up 1. From -6 to -4, you go up 2. So your rise over your run is going to be 1/2. I could keep going down the table, but I'm going to skip that for this video. That's more of a rate of change/slope video where we discuss that in a little bit more detail. But basically, if you do it with any of those points, you're always going to get this as your slope value, m. So all we have to do to finish our equation is to just put in our slope, 1/2. And that is our equation. y equals 1/2 x plus 7. Now, a little homework for you here. Go put these points into Desmos. Just have it graph them by keying them into the input, and then key in our equation. It will be a very satisfying experience because the equation will go right through all of your points, and you'll know that you're correct.